What's up, dudes? HW here. How the heck are you doing? Today I want to talk about something very important. How to edit your proxy clones. Let's jump into it. All right, here I am. This is what I'm playing. This is a free download, 66AC30BOD1, and we're here in Proxy land. We're in the stadium. Now, I'll tell you a misconception that exists across all of the capture device units, and that's this. It's that if you start moving EQs and changing things, that you are destroying the authenticity of a capture, in this case a proxy clone, right? That somehow that messes up the amp. And I'm here to tell you that could not be further from the truth. And here's why. Every guitar you've ever heard is a recording of a guitar, unless you were there to hear the amp yourself, right? So unless you saw Hendrix live, unless you saw Zeppelin live, unless you saw Bruno Mars live or Prince live, John Mayer live, well, you've probably seen John Mayer live a couple times, but my point is, you probably even heard him through a sound system. My point is, all the guitar tones that you reference in your head are recorded. They're through a microphone, they're through something. And I will tell you a little dirty secret. I've never met a recording engineer who didn't do something to every track. And because when they say they're doing nothing, they really mean they're high and low passing, right? They can't help themselves. They just can't help themselves. So I like to tell people, whether you're on a Kemper, a Quad Cortex, or in this case, a Proxy, kind of clone thing, treat this EQ right here. Don't think of it like your amp, right? We're not on a Kemper where they advertise having the modeled tone stacks that you can apply to the capture. We're not using a model where it's got the modeled tone stack. This is your channel strip. This is the EQ on your 500 series Neve clone. This is your EQ at the board. It's what the sound guy gets. And one of the great things about modelers is that you get to control your sound from the strings to the listener's ear, because you take full control of the microphone, of this EQ there, before the speaker, after speaker. That's one of the great things about digital. So treat this like your channel strip. So let's look at what I'm doing right here. High cut. I'm cutting everything above 1300. Why? Just because. There's not really a ton up there I want for this type of sound. I want to be kind of focused, right? I want to have a focused AC30. Sounds good. I can bring it all the way up. I can do that, but I just want to take a little bit of that top off for no other reason than I like the focus it gives me, and I like to clean it up just a little bit. I dig it. I dig it because I'm also going to have some sheen and stuff from the Verb going on there. Low cut. I like to take out kind of below 100. Because I'm gonna play this in a band, right? And that's what the sound guys are gonna do to me anyway. So I wanna control this, and hopefully they won't have to. And this is typically what I might do at a board or on a piece of outboard gear. Now I'm fine, I could leave that off actually. I kind of prefer it right now with the guitar on its own. I prefer it with no low cut, but in a band I tend to take that out just up to 100 or maybe 120. It helps get rid of some muddiness when all the everybody starts getting together. Let's say I want to brighten this. I've got no problem coming over here and just turning this up. Here we go. This sound is already plenty bright. So you can do your thing, but these tools are a bit limited. If you really want to unlock sort of everything you can do, I would bring it over here and I would start with something like a tilt EQ. This would be, the thing to do here is use an EQ block and really treat it like something that you can sculpt your sound with. The easiest one is the tilt EQ. It's not really what I would use, but it's where I might start. Because you can just ask yourself, do I want that darker or brighter? And by doing it after the amp block, you've opened yourself up to really editing it like an engineer would. Look, I've kind of turned that into a Strat, haven't I? Look at that. I've kind of made this into, here I've got my bright Stratocaster. Now if I bring it the other way, I've now got maybe something more, I don't know, like a humbucker? Kind of sounds a little muffled, but if I bring that up, I'm just darkening it up. Why not, right? Now let's replace this with something a little more advanced, and I'm going to show you how to use a parametric EQ. Now here's how it shows us the parametric EQ, and I hate this view of a parametric EQ. I much rather have what they don't offer, which is a graphic representation. But since this is all we get on the Helix, man, why did they do it this way? Why did they do it this way? I gotta call them and just say, hey, why aren't you guys, let's put on a stereo one so we don't lose our stereo-ness, although it doesn't really matter, but we have a stereo effect right here. So we won't put it there. Here, we could put it right here. It won't matter if it's stereo or not there. But man, I wish they had given us the graphic representation. I haven't actually noticed that. I thought it was on this tab, but I realized this is just all knobs. Well, that's something for them to fix in the future. But let's talk about it. I get my low cut, I get my high cut, right? And then I have in the middle, I have two shelves and I have some points I can accent. So basically what we get is there's a low cut, which I'm really not going to use right now because I have low cuts and high cut ability on the block itself. But what I do get are these shelves. Now, what's the difference between a shelf and not a shelf, right? A shelf is when you pick a point and you say, on a low shelf, you say from this point down to infinity, and I want to raise the decibel level, or I want to lower the decibel level. I want to make it louder or quieter. And then on the high shelf, you do the same thing. You pick a point, you say from here higher, I'm gonna raise it a little bit or lower it. So what I like to do, and why I think this is very useful, is if you take this high shelf frequency, I like to put it somewhere like maybe right here, this 2500, right? Now I have a shelf at 2500 and I can adjust the frequencies above 2500 or below. I'm going to turn off my my high cut and I'm going to turn off my low cut. And now just the frequencies at 2500 or above right here, I'm going to raise them about 2 dB, 2.5 dB, why not? And you can hear what that sounds like. Very cool. Now I'm going to bring it down 2.5 dB or 3 dB, why not? You see the big effect I've had on my sound right there? That's a big effect I've had on my sound right there. And it really helps me not change, too much other than those upper frequencies to sort of give myself more brightness and sort of sizzle, or a little bit less. but the bass and the mid-range are left untouched. And I can really dial in where I want that and how much I want. Let's put it right here for a little warmer, a little more punchy of a sound. For my low end, I might want a little more heft on there. So I'm gonna grab my low frequency. So that is my high shelf. Now I want my low shelf, and I'm gonna pick, maybe let's go to, I want a little extra low end in here. So I'm gonna take like 250. It's gonna be a very, 230. I'm gonna take a very usable low end, and I'm just gonna bump it up like 1.3 dB. Here's with nothing. Here's with it on. So I got a little more there, right? Turn it off. That's subtle. You might need headphones to really hear that. But here, I can cut it down even more, right? Whoops, I didn't have it on there. See, I really took the bottom out that time. That's starting to make it sound thin on the bottom end. So let me add that back in. 1.8 we'll go to. Got a little thud in there, right? So with this EQ off, here's my normal sound. With the EQ on, I've thickened it up. I've given it some heft. And all I've really done, I haven't changed the mid-range characteristic. I've just added a little low end on the low frequencies and the high end, but it still sounds authentically like my sound. It still sounds like my Vox, but maybe I've changed some EQ. That is how I think you dial in a guitar. Let's get a little mid-range emphasis. And this is just a quick look, guys. There's a lot more to it, and I'll do a future video where I really talk about different mid-range frequencies and what it does and how you can do little scoops and bigger scoops. But let's take our mid-range frequency. There's one right here, this mid-range frequency, and let's put this to, let's say 1600. That's a very Marshall-like frequency. And the Q is the width of how much of this bell we're gonna push up or down. I'm gonna push this up a good amount, like just 2 dB, and now it's gonna sound like this. Now I'm gonna scoop it out 2 dB, 2.8 dB. Took all the mid-range right out. Let's add that mid-range back in, about 2.5 dB boost. Dude, that sounds rockin' and big and lovely, and I am digging that. Without it, it starts to sound a little bit like tiny now, right? But with it in there, that sounds like a rockin' amount of mid-range, and I dig it. I like it. Now, that is just a quick little how you can use EQ to properly sort of adjust your stuff. You don't destroy any accuracy. You're not ruining anything. And here's something I want to tell you modeler guys. You guys who, I only use models because I get the real EQ. What I just did, you cannot do on an amplifier. There's no amplifier, not even a Mesa Boogie, that gives you that amount of flexibility. This is recording engineer type control that we're getting on our units, right? So take advantage of it. This works for anything, any unit, any analog unit. If you've got these controls, that sounds killer, and you can't do that in the analog world very easily. on your Vox AC30, unless you mic it up, bring it out to something else, do it there, then then you're recording it, right? But digital makes it so easy. I just added an extra little block, and all of a sudden I have this control in a really great spot after the amplifier to really control what's going out to my listener. I'll give you one more bonus tip. If you ever have a hard time with harshness, I'll do another video, and I have done a video on this. If you have a hard time with digital harshness, come right over here, 3500, and make that Q real large, actually. Just make it higher. You'll actually take that bell and bring it in. Let's go to like 4.5. Let's bring the gain down, just down a little bit. Like let's like bring it down to like -5. What you're doing now is you're really like notching out that 3.5. Here's with it off. Here's with it on. That is a cool trick because that 3.5 area can sometimes be where there's harshness. I don't feel like it's harsh right now, but just a little bonus tip. I wanted to show you that. All right, hopefully that's been helpful. I have more in depth on how the different frequencies are used to really dial in your tone, but that's a good little crash course in how to edit your proxy captures, clones, tones, and profiles, captures. You can do this on any device. I think the Quad Cortex looks a little different, but you can put it together. HW.